This episode is presented to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.
What up, world? Back in LA for another episode of All the Smoke. My brother Matt in his state. You know, I'm kind of a visitor here, but you know we've been doing.
Always welcome.
Yeah, we've been doing business here long enough, but it's kind of home now. You know
That
what I'm
part.
saying? But special episode today, man. Somebody who I admire, somebody who I look up to. My life has grown to really understand him and to really know how to put myself in his shoes. A lot of stuff that he went through as a young, during his career, it was hard for us to understand because we wasn't in it. My own experience in life has opened me up to really admire him and understand him, and to really want to be somebody that I call a friend and a brother. Honored to have you on the show today, the one and only Craig Hodges.
Yes, sir.
Salam alaikum, my brother.
Alaikum salam,
Welcome, yeah.
brothers. Peace and blessings to everybody in this. Like I said, I appreciate the invite, man. And
Glad
I love
you here.
watching y'all from afar. Y'all doing a great job, and it's something that's definitely vital for the people, man. You know, and it's not just about our community; it's about people in general,
Yep.
and people who care about people.
Yep. Appreciate you.
Yes,
So
sir.
how's life right now? What's going on with
Hey,
you?
man, keeping it simple. You know, making sure that training as many young players as I can. You
Mhm.
know, and at the same time doing as much mentoring from research and development as I can. You know, that's my passion. It was basketball and history.
Mhm.
So I continue to do my research and try to maintain that student athlete mentality.
A lot of people throw the word blackballed around,
Hmm.
white ball, whatever you want to call it, and not really experience it or not really understand it. You are very familiar with that.
Hmm.
Can you talk about that and give a lot of people don't understand what being blackballed from the league means?
Yeah, you know, one of the beautiful part for me in the whole experience of it is that I was blessed to go to Long Beach State. Tex Winter recruited me. He was recruiting me from Northwestern when I was in Chicago playing basketball. And when I got a chance to come to Long Beach State, I got a chance to study Black Studies. And my first professor was Dr. Maulana Karinga, the founder of Kwanzaa. And the first lesson that we learned was why is everything that is negative has a black connotation to it.
Did
Black
you say the
sheep.
founder of Kwanzaa?
Yes, the founder of Kwanzaa. Yes, Dr. Karinga.
Okay.
So for me, it was one of those things where, once again, I was blessed to have Tex, who came in and brought me out here. I knew I wanted to go out here after watching all the UCLA when I was growing up and watching them and being in Chicago in 20 below weather and looking out here in palm trees and T-shirts. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
And when Tex got the job at Long Beach, it was a no-brainer for me. And then when I got here, I found Black Studies because I wanted to be a political science major. And when I got to Long Beach, I had a chance to get Black Studies as my very first class. And that took me back to what I learned in as far as the civil rights movement was in Chicago Heights, Illinois, and growing up under segregation and seeing, you know, Jim Crow. When I was a baby, man, I couldn't sit at the lunch counter with young white children who were getting their ice creams. I had to take my ice cream outside with it melting all down my arm, you know. But it was one of those things that, you know, we grew up under it, but at the same time, we realized that, you know, it's something special for you in your life if you work hard, if you study hard, and you conduct yourself in a manner in which where you came from. So our generation, I think about it, you know, every time we left the house, somebody was telling you, be a good boy, you know, and that meant something. It meant something to the point that, you know, as you go further in life, you always want to make sure you conduct yourself in a way that's, you know, conducive to the growth, not only of you, but also the people around you. So when I look at, you know, the background and studies that I had at Long Beach State, it almost prepared me for what was to come from the white balling or the black balling and, you know, the historical relevance of it, not just to me, but whenever I speak about it, I always want to make sure that I include Mahmoud in it, and that, you know, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf and the path that he was on, even more so than myself. You know, I feel like I could probably win another 3 or 4 three-point titles and maybe a couple more rings, but the path that Mahmoud was on from a personal development and a personal career level where he could have went in as far as the amounts of points that he could score and score against the best defenders in the game and to not be an issue. It was almost, you look at him and then if you go watch him do his drill work, he was doing drill work when he was playing. So for me to understand the reality of, you know, when you stand up for a position that is not conducive to the growth of white supremacy racism and understanding the boundaries of it, understanding the economic impacts of it, understanding that within the realm of where we are, that's the civilization that we're under, and that in that, should I continue to want to thrive in that, or should I want my children to have something better? And the only way it can get better is if we build it. It's not, and that's the cool part of having the historical perspective and knowing that when we study African history and the African origin of civilization, we know that every other civilization sprang from that. So we have the right and the responsibility to build something right now that's relevant for not only our children, and that's the cool part about where we are today in history, is that it has become such a melting pot with the internet, is that we are the world now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that righteous people of good thought and peace and love can conduct themselves together now, and it becomes a conscious movement that it's almost unstoppable.
To really kind of understand your story, I want to take it back to where it started. Chicago, as you mentioned earlier, towards the end of the Jim Crow era. What was it like for you growing up in that area?
Man, I tell people I had to have this childhood of anybody that I could, think about, because even though we were segregated, at that time when in Chicago Heights, you couldn't go past Halsted Street. And they would always tell us, not knowing as a child growing up, when your parents would tell you, make sure you back on the other side of Halsted before 6, before it get dark. And we didn't know the reason why, but that was a line of demarcation in Chicago Heights for us, and that to realize that, okay, everything they got over there, we got over here. And when it comes time for us to compete against one another, it ain't even close. So it was a matter of us realizing that, my aunt, who was, Lord rest her soul, my godmom as well, she was one of the top teachers. So her whole class that left Chicago Heights to go to Illinois State to learn how to teach, they all came back and taught us. So the community that I grew up in, I would go to the corner store and I would see my math teacher. So it was truly a community where everybody knew everybody. And when you think about that period of time, and you just talk about even on a professional level, when you think about the Celtics having to go go past the Jim Crow line, and they ain't letting them, you can't stay in the same hotel and all of that. So I was part of that, but as a baby and seeing it growing up from the standpoint, talking to my granddad, he was the first black track captain at Bloom High School in Chicago Heights. And he said he couldn't play football or baseball because you had to touch a white person. So the lines of segregation and demarcation was so tough that a lot of people don't realize it as we move away from this thing, and we think that everything is in a vacuum, and that, people died and shed blood. I remember 1968, waking up in the morning, turning on WGN News and seeing Fred Hampton and Mark Clark apartment as you know what I'm saying? So they tell us oftentimes the memories that we have as children are ones that are so hard on you. You know what I'm saying? So I recall, and not cool, but the critical point to be made is how the media portrayed that in such a way that made sure that you saw it as a baby. Mm-hmm. They didn't try to say, okay, like now where they say, okay, what you're getting ready to see, you can cover up your children's eyes and then it's getting ready to come on. It wasn't none of that. It was like seeing the chief of police walking here with all these police, and you seeing bloody mattresses. You seeing all of this as a child, and you saying, man, why is it that this is happening to us? And not realizing that it's a systematic condition that is something that you don't have to partake in it. You have to study it. But now when I become an adult and become worthy of a paycheck, and once again, that's paid to be checked, but being worthy of an income, should that income not be put in a manner that can help other people get out of that? Because then I think that's one of the things that we missed when we talking about that Jim Crow era, but even the educational process, the mental part of it, like Malcolm said, we've been bamboozled. You know what I'm saying? And that the brainwashing and the brain mechanism. So for me, I always think about when they say 3/5 of a human being. What parts did y'all leave away from me? Mm-hmm. What is that? For me, when I study it, is God and tongue. you know, that you gave me this man, Shaquille type, man, we got all of that, but what are we thinking about? Mm-hmm. What tongue do we have to think from, you know what I'm saying? So in the manifestation of coming through what we came through as a people, and that's one thing I always, since I was 18 years old, and even younger, I think, that I've always tried to make sure every single day I think about those who are less fortunate than me. And when I was 18, 19, 20, I thought it was a black thing. No, it's a people thing. Mm-hmm. Nobody should suffer. You know, I was watching yesterday, doing some research for what we're doing here today, brothers. I saw Tupac, and it was a 4 minute and 55-second interview that he was doing with MTV. And he was talking about the billionaire class. And it was so cold. What he was saying was, if I got all of this bread, why do I need all these houses? Mm-hmm. Why can't I help some people? And that's the beautiful part where, for me, I think about my grandmom, who to me is the most saintly person that ever walked the earth. And I'm sure all of our grandmamas. Yep. And that's the part I think that we missed in the early part of our movement, that we were so man, black, as opposed to seeing how much the sisters who birthed us all, where are they at in this divinity thing? Mm-hmm. You feel me? Because that's where we are. We're in the age of Aquarius now, so a lot of this information is coming through sisterhood, and we have to respect that for what it is, because we had our chance, brothers, and we didn't do what we were supposed to do with it, even though it's a divine timing thing. So I think a lot of even to the point of what we do with our wealth, how we manifest ourselves. You know, this what y'all doing, brothers. Y'all realize it because y'all solid brothers and y'all know what y'all doing. But this is so important. This whole, and you know how you see stuff from the outside, and you have so I see it from the outside, and I've been checking y'all out. And then when y'all give my godson and he say, let's do this thing, and then to come and see the production factor in it, it's so powerful. Appreciate and it's so powerful that this is something I want my baby boy to come see this, because he loves music and all of this type of stuff, and that this is what we need, because this is what we didn't have. And these were the type of programs that when we won championships in Chicago, this is what I felt we could do. Mm-hmm. That as opposed to us saying, okay, I'm going to go to Rush Street, or I'm going to go do this and I'm going to do this. Hey, man, what would happen if we organized ourselves as a championship unit and stayed in the city we was in until we go back to training camp? What type of programs like this could we build for every city in America? And likewise, we're all retired players now. That's one of the things that I'm hollering at the retired players about, is how can we connect ourselves to the players that are playing now, and we be able to run programs through the retired players who are in local places that can do things over a sustained period of time, as opposed to it being me coming in doing a camp and then I'm gone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what y'all doing, man. And for me to share whatever information we can share right now to this next generation is critical, because if we don't, they coming after whatever little bit you got.
I think it'll be more beneficial, like you said, if the retired players that want to give that education, that want to give that game back, can set up some ground roots foundation and where they live. Exactly. Because it'll be more organic. They can spend more time, and they can the kids will get more out of it. Exactly. That make all the sense in the world.
Yes, man, and that's the part where we have to, one of the things that I like is that when we play sport, we know how cooperative you have to be to win. Right. You know, so when I hear this whole conversation about the GOAT, I say there's only one GOAT, and that's Bill Russell to me, because he won, he taught people to win, and when we put on these shorts and these uniforms and go through layups and all of that, we trying to win, man. So we can talk all of this about an individual stat or whatever. That's cool, but in the long run, if you ain't a swimmer or running a sprint, you in this as a group. And the group, and that's part of in this civilization. I think about us when we were winning championships in Chicago, and we were talking about Pip and how we became part of Michael and the Jordanaires, and how we were cool with it because we understood it as in the locker room. So we gonna support you, brother, to make sure that you can get what you get. You know what I'm saying? But don't discount the fact that let's give Pip 15 more trips.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give Horace another 5 trips. Let's give Hodge another 5 or 6 jumpers. And let's see how we can melt this thing out. And then I think, so when we were speaking in terms of, watching my brother Pip and, watching some of the stuff that's going on, it's sad to me that we haven't fostered that brotherhood like y'all got.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I think that's what I thought when I came in the league in 1982. One of the first people to hit knowledge on me was Bill Walton. Loving to death to this day. And he told me, say, Hodge, look here. You're a hooper, man. I don't care how much you go through this thing and get to management, always be on the side of the players because they are the game. And that's what I feel like. I feel like we are the game, so we have so much to offer still to the game. And likewise, I feel like we can be more influential in the way that the game is going. So when I look at, okay, I delineate. We got basketball, then we have management basketball. So management basketball in the NBA, where I see it now, is analytics and that type of thing. Over here, we're saying, how do we make the best team and what is the complements that I can make in chemistry to make this thing work? I look at probably, and Matt, it's at least, and the same thing with you. When you down there with Pop, so much of what Pop is doing is triangle. So when we look at hit that thing, drop it in 10 dunk and go over there, that's
Same
triangle.
thing.
You know what I'm saying? But now the game is such, I would love to see Joel Embiid against James Edwards, Bill Cartwright. Somebody is running block to block. Will Chamberlain would have loved to guard Joel Embiid at the 3-point line because now I only got to run to there. And now you got to run down here and you're going to have to take this beating. And that's the thing that it's, I love the conversation. No diss on Embiid, and I'm not using that as an example. I'm just using it in the way the game is played.
Right.
When I think I was watching a conversation that Kobe was having, and he said that it's accidental basketball. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that is so profound. Because when I look at the way the game is played, and me playing off of Michael Jordan out of triangle, as opposed to me playing with Michael Jordan out of isolation basketball, it was a total difference. When we was in isolation, I'll be over there off the ball. When is it coming? Is it gonna come? Now we know in triangle that when that thing coming, it's gonna be there, and it's gonna.
They still might shortcut it, but if they don't shortcut it, you're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it wide open, and that's the beautiful part of the system itself, is that it lends itself to everybody getting touches, so everybody gonna play D. Everybody gonna play D, so let's go the other way. Somebody gonna get a touch and somebody gonna, you know what I'm saying? So when we was talking about, Matt and I was having a conversation about Pip, and I told him, I said, to me, once Scottie became one of the 50th best, his level of confidence, not necessarily the way he played, he was playing that top 50 before then. He just didn't know it. You feel me? He was under the influence of 23, that this is how you do it, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. I'm gonna drop you some, this is how you do it. So he little brother. Man, when he became top 50, it became, what, let's go. And I think to some degree, that's still there in that little rift they having. But, Lord willing, it'll come together because everybody got children and grandbabies now, man. Yeah. We too old for that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We too old. We too old for that now. We elders now. We elders to the point where we got to be able to give something back in a level where, hey man, if I can't give it to you, and see, I think, the economics of America, the economics of what is success? Is it me having $1 billion? Is it me having 100,000? Is it me having 100? What is, so in this thing, they put that idol in front of us and we all chase it so much. And when I leave money on the table, it can be tough. And I think many times that when we leave money on the table or money's left on the table, that those little frackings come out and then we have chaos.
Well, right now, StockX, shout out our partner StockX, we got something we want to give you.
One more time for StockX. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go.
I thought this was Malcolm X.
No, just StockX.
Just StockX.
Not Malcolm X. StockX.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Open them motherfuckers up. We want to see what you got.
All right.
Just peel. Yeah, there you go. It's like a trans. You just unpeel it. You got to peel the rest off the top. You got to peel the rest. Yeah. Come on. There you go. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's fancy here. Yeah, we not playing.
You fancy, huh?
It's not Malcolm, but it's StockX.
I see.
We get you the precious shoes by any means necessary.
See, these them 04s right here. These are
it's
them
just
ones
cold.
right here.
You
These
did.
are them 04s right here.
The leathers too.
Yeah, the patent leather. And
Patent
truth
leather.
be told, so I have these hanging up in my office. I got a bookshelf in my office there at the top of my bookshelf. I still have blood stains on the tongue of one of the shoes from, how you get kicked in the shin and all that shit.
Yeah.
So it's still, but I was like, damn, that's my war mark right there.
Well, we are.
But no, these the 04s. This memory lane right here.
That's
I
dope.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you, StockX.
This-
Give it up for StockX.
For sure. Man.
That's our year, 04.
Yeah, this right here, this classic right here, yo. This is classic. Man, this even with this little card right here brings back memories, bro. I remember when Ben crossed it off. He every game, every series, they would have Ben cross it off. And it was coming and it was building up. And then when they had that one up there and he crossed it off, man.
16 wins.
Y'all won.
Man.
16 wins.
Hey. It doesn't seem, it seems like a lot to a lot of people to get 16 wins. It's not a lot to get that. It's just harder. It's like in the playoffs, it's hard as shit, yo.
That's over 20 years ago, though. Don't seem like that long ago, though.
Yes, it was.
21 years.
Yes, it was.
Crazy.
Man.
This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice. Because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network together with our roaming partners covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Tommy John's have changed the game. Their underwear are the most comfortable I've ever worn. They're silky soft, breathable, and lightweight. If you don't believe me? Check the waistband. Ever since Tommy John has been sending me products, it's all I've been wearing. They're the true MVP in the underwear game. What are some of the problems that other underwear brands give you that Tommy John doesn't? These things let my balls breathe. And that's the most important thing. They hold them nice and tight, but they can also breathe. So get you some. Double down with comfort on Tommy John and get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/smoke with the promo code SMOKE. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/smoke. I'll see you there.
Why is the triangle not popular?
Because can't nobody teach it but me. And don't nobody want to allow me to teach it. And I'm cool with that. I can tell you right now, my son is teaching at Pasadena Polytechnic High School. My oldest boy, he's teaching triangle over there.
Cope taught his daughter, Gigi's team, the triangle.
It's the easiest game. But this is the craziest part. It's the most fundamental system you're going to get. Soon as you walk in the door, that's footwork. Then we go into our real footwork. Then we pick up a ball. Now we're in the ball handling. That's what you're going to do naturally if you walk into a gym and pick up a ball. So it's certain things that Tex was able to figure out on a straight basic level. I wish everybody would have had a chance to be at Long Beach State for the 4 years that I spent there.
Was it triangle off the rip
What do you mean?
with Tex?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It was, and this is the cold part about it. Like I had it for 4 years in college. So I tell people, Phil won how many championships, 12 or whatever you won, with only a third of the system. Because we didn't have to play against full court. You know what I'm saying? So in college, you playing against full court. We playing triangle right from out of bounds. So it's cold. It's a cold system. And for me, I'm like, every team that I coach, that's what I teach. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying you run the triangle from out of bounds. I'm putting it together. I'm visualizing.
Think about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Blind
That
pig.
is-
Blind pig.
Yeah.
Think about
Get
it.
to the middle.
And the way we set up against press was we was 4 across, 2 at the elbow, 2 on the wings.
Mhm.
So now that wing pop, I hit, and I
5-4.
go through.
To the corner. Mm-hmm.
Other guy
To half court.
Other guy flash middle. Yeah.
It's man, and that's the cool part about. I'm so glad I played the game when I played the game. You know, we all had handles. We had taps or whatever you want to call it. We had that. You know what I'm saying? But the game was played where I got a cat that's 6'9", I'm 6'2". We gonna look inside
Yeah,
before we look outside.
Exactly.
So I'm coming down, I'm dropping that in. So I say I would love to see Steph Curry try to play with one of them bigs back in the day with a grab the rebound. No. Come back here, young man.
Mm-hmm.
Come here, young man. Here. Hold that down. Wait till I get down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you got when you came
Yeah.
into the league as a rookie.
Yeah.
Yo, man, what you running down there so fast for?
Young fella. Slow that thing down, young fella.
Hold that up because I'm down there doing this dirty work.
Yeah.
You know, hold up till I get down there. You know, so it's a different game, but once again, everything is in cycles. And, you know, man, how many teams in the league could probably be competitive on a championship level with triangle?
Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
But, you know, Tex taught us, one of the first things he taught us, he said, man, you dribbling from here to there, I'm going to pass it to get there quicker. So we dribbling around. I watched the game and somebody dribbled almost the whole 24-second clock and got like 3 screening rolls at the top, didn't shit come off of it. And now you got to launch. And I'm like, that's not basketball to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were taught the practical, especially playing under Pop and Phil. You weren't going to play if you weren't playing practical basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're shooting a 30-foot, it should be at the end of a clock or at the end of a quarter.
That's why I feel like, I mean, this generation is very skilled, but I feel like they lack the thinking of the game. Because like you said, that
And you think about it, one of the
rolls is
great parts
basketball.
about all of us we had a chance to play at the park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now, instead of playing at the park, they're with a dribbling coach.
yes, head down.
They're with they're with a strength and conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
So you only got so much time to do whatever we're doing.
You working out, but you ain't playing.
Man, and
Yeah.
that was the thing that we were learning. We were learning to play against bigger people.
Yep.
Playing with younger, playing against older guys, so you learn to play against through contact and everything. Where now it's like, you know, and then when they set up these AAU programs and such, where you getting the top 5 from over here, come with top 7 over here, and now we gonna go and just dominate every place. But nobody's working on what their weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's trying to win. We trying to win and that's what I tell people now whenever I mentor any young folks and their parents is that you only have so many games in your body. And when I say games, I'm saying when you put on when a referee is out there, when you walk into the gym and you smell popcorn, your adrenaline starts rushing, you put on a uniform, the whistle blows and the clock starts. That's different than scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
You only got so many of them in your life. Now, if you're an up-and-coming player and you look like you're going somewhere, I want them to be from 22.
Save them.
Man.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
22 to 32.
Yep.
I don't want you to be my son is the top 8th grader. Okay,
Man, hey, we gotta edit this part. That's
You know?
been my whole thing with my twins, and like the homies can contest. Like,
Right.
there's no point in being the best 5th grader, 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grade. Like, you want to start peaking at 11th grade, 12th grade,
Man,
and through college,
exactly,
and then that's
exactly.
and then you hit your physical peak.
Yes, and then
in your
everything
mid to
kick
late
in.
20s. So it's just it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so many people these days, because I coach AAU, and obviously you still coaching, it's about, well, my son's ranked this and it's this, and I tell you, you know how many people I've seen ranked
Man,
and never do anything.
Never see them again.
Never heard of them
Exactly.
again.
And that's the part of
it's
it.
the build. It's the constantly chop wood, carry water. Let's just get a little
Exactly.
bit better
Yep.
each time.
Yep. And then that's the thing, man, is that, and to be able to give that guidance. And that's the part where I'm like,
It's a cheat code.
yes. And
You got the answers to the test already.
yes. And if you can, and that's like I tell young folks when I'm working with them, I'm like, okay, I'll work with you. And I tell their parents, I'll work with y'all. But if they're a knucklehead, we only got one session. Okay. And I'm gonna know if you're a knucklehead or she's a knucklehead because they're gonna think they already know.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then you don't need me. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need me.
So let's just go on ahead and understand that the fundamentals are the fundamentals, and let's grind on those. Like you say, let's grind on those fundamentals. Let's see how much work we can put in with older people. See where we can bring you along, and then you go back and go in the work shed. I tell people, I feel like I became the shooter that I am because I shot so much by myself, and that I never got bored, and still to this day I don't get bored with seeing the ball go through the basket the same way because I do it the same way, and that me and my son would have battles because he'd get caught in his Kobe. He'd get caught in the Kobe. I was like, bro, you didn't hit 20 in a row, and now you want to fade. Why not make the 21st one? Because for me, it's not the 21st or the 101st. It's just that one. And how do I make sure that every single jumper is just one? And now I'm putting all of this into this single one. And that's when I was working with Kobe, I would have to remind him our word was extension, because Kobe shot so many balls, not just shooting them, but thinking about shooting them, that he was always on to the next one. And I'm like, no, bro, stay there with that one. Because when you did that, stay there till you see that shit go in. And then we off. And you go steal it and come back and do it again. You know what I'm saying? And again and again. Yeah. And that was the part that I loved with, working with him, was that his mental focus and his preparation before I go out there. I want to make sure that I have all the bases covered possible before I strap them on. And then when I strap them on, I'm going to have that connected with that. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly.
I got to steal that when I'm talking to my daughter's team.
About what?
Just make all them shots one shot.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the hardest part.
We're gonna touch on this a little later, but you told me something that I thought was crazy, super fascinating. What's the difference? You play with M and you coach with Phil and work with Kobe. What's the difference between those two, in your opinion?
Right hand.
Why?
Because with Kobe would be going to the line to shoot 2. MJ was going to shoot and 1. So a lot of them knocks that Kobe had to shoot with 2 hands, when that knock would happen, MJ put that bad boy over here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the difference, huh? Okay.
Over there.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
We was
crazy.
over here politicking.
That to me is the only difference is that gripper. Yeah. And that gripper. Because I'm telling you, I done seen this brother make, like he going to do a crossover, and you, come on, man.
Yeah, that's a mitt right there, bro.
Come on. Only man, I'm telling you, him and Dr. J, them hands, come on, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's certain, and that's the way you say, like, the creator knows who should have what.
Exactly. You can't question him.
You know what I'm saying? This is what you're gonna need to do what you got in your mind that you're gonna do. And there it is. Go for it. And then you have Kobe, MJ, that injured Westbrook. You feel me?
Got it.
When you look at people like Ja Morant, who have that, when you be like, that's a different engine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can work, like I'm telling you, I was with MJ 4.5 seasons or whatever. Never lost a suicide. Never.
Never lost a suicide.
Never.
It's crazy.
Never.
Close?
No.
Look at Jay. Like, that's hard to believe, huh? Because some days you niggas walking down, I don't feel like running.
And we would ask Phil how many we got after practice, and he would ask us how many we want. Because he knew we was trying to get him. So you try to wear him down. It would be like this. All right, me and BJ, we gonna go out hard on him.
Oh, y'all would team up on him.
Please. Soon as the whistle blow, he damn near coming back at us.
That's different.
You feel me?
Yeah.
On the real.
Different.
And this ain't no job. And I'm running. I feel like I could run all day.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I quick hands, some speed.
Yeah.
But man, it wasn't even fair. On the real. And I done seen, check this out. Kobe rehabbing. and we in Anaheim getting ready to play a preseason game, right? So going through our workout before the other team comes out. And then the other team get ready to come out. He's like, watch this, Hodge. I'm like, what? He's like, watch this. He get on the sideline and start running like he Usain Bolt up and down the sideline. Where the other team coming out to shoot, they can't even look. They looking at him. Because he running, like he eating the lines. You know what I'm saying? And that's the temperament that these young cats can talk about.
Different.
And you crazy. So when we got with the Lakers, we go to Hawaii for our first training camp. We on the plane. He tapped me on the shoulder. Man, when we get in, I want to have lunch with you. Okay. Get in, go downstairs, we have lunch. It was all about, man, how did MJ make people better? What was he like? And then I had never seen him practice. Saw him practice, it was like watching Michael.
Whoa.
The first and everything.
Gas me. And mannerisms.
Everything.
I'm like, and then understanding how much he watched him growing up, but to be able to
see that shit.
To see it, put it in practice, and then go do it. He would call me and say, Hodge, we need some work in the morning. Okay, we get there 6:30. And he working on 4 spots that he gonna get 30 from that night. And he ain't taking no shots.
Where are they at?
Box, elbow, wing.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'm talking about precision. And I'm pissed because it's 35, 40 minutes and nothing but D for me.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and I'm knowing him. He want a different look every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give him that.
Yeah.
Just from a competitive end. And that, you know, like I said, like you talk about how much of a blessing it was to play with MJ. I got an MJ almost every day in practice. You know, and I loved it because for me it was like, when I know he gonna post, I'm gonna just front. Y'all better help me. You feel me? And then when he shoot, I'm gone. And now he gotta try to cross match to get back. And I'm shooting this thing.
Yeah.
You know, to play with him and then to watch Kobe and to see Kobe say, all right, man, I'm gonna do these 2 footworks from here and I'm gonna get 14. I'm gonna do these over here and I'm gonna get at least 20 into the line for 4 more. And we go back and it be them spots. Because he done looked and said, okay, this team got this type of D they gonna throw at me. This team got this big down here, so I ain't gonna be going down there and he too small with me.
Did you go to keep your training? Did you go with us to Spain?
No.
You weren't there?
No.
So we was on the flight to Spain. I told this story before, but I just want to add on to what you're thinking when you talk about the way he looks at defense. So this is when everybody was asleep. He was on the big, huge plane with the families there and everything. And he has his headphones on, and I think he's over there rapping, so I'm going to go talk shit to him. I get up, and there's like 30 different courts, and he's drawing where the defense is going to be. He's like, I don't look at the guy guarding me. I don't look at the help. I look at the third guy. Yes. This is where you guys are going to be open at. So he has some shit where LO is going to be open, me, Steve Blake, Fish, Ron. I'm like, this nigga's a sicko.
Because it's going to take 3 to stop him.
A sicko. But then you talk about his kill spots on top of that, and I know how the defensive plays. Like when he's like, MB, this is where you're going to be open. This I'm not even worried about this guy. I'm looking at this, and I'm just like, oh, this dude is not.
And I probably was a guy he wasn't worried about.
And Tex Winter,
I was too before I got on this team. What you mean?
It's crazy. And that's what, when I got with the Lakers, Tex would tell me, man, I would have to tell Kobe to get out of my room because we watching film. And Kobe was like, the first time he watched film with Tex, he thought he was just going to watch film with him. He's like, nah, man, we watched the whole game, jump ball all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And he said how much that helped him make the game slow down.
For Kobe.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, too, man, when you got green light.
Lime green.
Shit different.
Man, come on, man.
Donnie Nelson gave me that.
You know, and that's the part, like when we were Doug Collins. Doug Collins was like this. And people was like, man, MJ shoot a lot. No, MJ just had to make 1 shot. Anybody, you make 1 shot, Doug coming back to the same play.
That's old school basketball.
He coming back to the same play twice. So you got 2 times to score again. So MJ would get on them runs, but you could get on them runs too.
Yeah.
Just you got to make at least 2 to 3 in a row, and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Man. But now the way the game is played for me, I'm so glad I played when I played, man, because to me it was more cohesive. It was more, I'm gonna say, formalized basketball from the standpoint that it was a position game. To where now it seems like, it's positionless. That if you can handle, regardless to your size, you're going to handle. You look at Jokic and Luka, they bring it.
Regardless of your size, you can shoot.
Yeah.
That's what the game is. Let's back up a little bit. Drafted to the San Diego Clippers.
Yes.
The owner that ended up losing his job during my run here.
Right.
Knowing what you're about, what you study, did you know anything about him before you got to the Clippers?
Not at all. And,
Okay.
and the crazy part was, for me coming in as Black studies, I was serious as far as my commitment, and still serious about it, but I was, how you can be too serious and not enjoy life. So it was one of those things where I made sure that I was on my P's and Q's where the game was concerned, and I was just young and I'm studying and watching. But I watched, where we would come in with the Clippers and not have our check signed. You know what I'm saying? And it's a Friday afternoon. You know what I'm saying? So
I need mine.
You know what I mean?
What?
And that type of stuff. But also at that time when Bill Walton would always let me know, yeah, man, the owner's a slumlord. You know what I'm saying? That's coming from Bill.
Bill was cool, right?
Bill
was super
man.
cool,
Bill
man.
was solid, man. And that's, certain people, I look at my life, man, there's certain people that I've been blessed to have looked at when I was a shorty, man. I remember Bill when he scored his last game at UCLA.
21 for 22.
Man, and ran off the court. You know what I'm saying? When he fouled out the game, he was gone, running off, and I was like, that white boy cool. You know what I'm saying? And Bill and all type of people I've been able to meet in my life, whether it was Jesse Jackson, whether it was Mandela, So did y'all notice this? Y'all might have seen this. Did y'all watch the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Did y'all see the NFL players commercial where they was talking about I am somebody? Did you see that? Anybody see that? Okay. That was the mantra that I had when I was 8 years old at Operation Breadbasket in Chicago by Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr.
Really?
And I said they didn't even get his brother no credit on that.
I remember that. That was his whole thing.
And
I am somebody.
And it
I remember that.
started with I am Black, but I am somebody.
Yeah.
All right. So when I seen that, I was like, oh man, come on. But it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. But just like right now, one of the things that we have to do as players, and I'm glad this came up, Spencer Haywood.
Yes.
Yep.
We have got to make sure that we start calling this the Spencer Haywood rule, and that it was because of Spencer that people could come in early.
Out of high school, no question.
And that's
No
the part, and just things like that from a historical level, man. And that Spencer's one of the other brothers that I had a chance, now we cool, and he was one of the brothers like, man, Spencer Haywood, you know what I'm saying? Kareem, Doc. And to get a chance, like you say, when I came in the league, when I played against the Lakers the first time, it was a trip get a greetings to Kareem. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to say, man, you here, but you can't be enamored with being here.
Gotta go.
It's putting in work. It's putting in work, but also knowing that, and that's one of the things too, is when I look at how right now, to some degree, I look back and say, man, if I was a one-dimensional, just a basketball player, and not thinking about the liberation.
I'm glad you wasn't.
It'd have been some numbers put up, y'all.
Yeah.
On the real. And I ain't saying that to be facetious. I'm saying
No, you can put the ball in the basket.
summertime run, I'm getting 35s and 40s in the city. So I know that, but I'm looking at how I was taught to play the game. All right. Steve Fisher was my high school coach that coached the Fab Five. So I had 3.5 hours every day of drill work. You feel me? And discipline. Man, in the early part of the game, I come down in high school and I drop a dime behind my back, and before he finished the layup, the horn was blowing for me to come out the game. Okay? Now, fourth quarter, same game. Come down, drop the same dime. No problem. because it's in the heat of the battle. Make the play. Don't need that early. Just make a play.
Yeah.
And that taught me, okay, I can make these plays, but be cognizant because you're going to come out of the game. And why come out the game? You're on the road where you got almost 38 right now. Don't do nothing stupid. Go and get your 40s. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different mindset. And for me, I was, like I said, I was blessed to be able to have great teaching all the way through. Go from Steve Fisher to Tex Winter, from Tex Winter to Paul Silas to Jimmy Lynam to Don Nelson, Cotton Fitzsimmons, Doug Collins, Phil Jackson. You know, so I've had great teaching all the way through. And probably one of the greatest teachers I had along that way was Don Nelson. And, you know, Nelly was cool. And I think one of the cool parts about Nelly that when he got to Golden State, he changed. You feel me? He became mellower.
Okay.
Man, Milwaukee, he was a psycho.
Was he? I want to hear about this side because he was
real.
so cool with us.
He was super mellow with us. Letting us smoke tree in his crib, in his apartment, all that.
Now, dig this. I go to Hawaii.
Who was that?
Yes,
Lovey. Get ready, Lovey.
Go
So
ahead.
I go to Maui. And I visit Phil. All these trees and shit, right? Now, I'm playing with the Bucks. I'm burning. He calls me in the office one day. Yeah, Craig, we need to talk. What's up? Smoking weed, right? I'm like, he's like, well, give it a couple days. Take it off a couple days, right? And I'm like, I get out there. I was like, man, you was messing with me about smoking weed when I was playing. What you tripping on, right? But anyway, Nelly was like this.
Nelly Kush.
Exactly. I was like, what? But anyway, when we was in Milwaukee, man, we would have 30 days of tour days.
Damn. Old school.
Yeah, I need to trade me.
You feel me? 30 days of tour days. And I'm
Trade
talking
me.
about Nelly was like this. I got traded.
Yeah, I ain't able to do it.
Me, Terry Cummins, and Ricky Pierce, we get traded to Milwaukee, all right? They get there for the first day of the first practice that morning. I come in that afternoon, so I'm going up to the elevator to meet Nelly, and they're coming down after the first practice in Ricky Pierce country. Man, Hodge, that mark crazy, man. It can't be that bad, man. So get up there with Nelly. He's like, yeah, I could have got you in the trade a year ago, but now I think you're going to have a longevity in the game. You got a nice physique and everything. He's like, but the one thing is, I want to know if you can handle a motherfucker cussing you out. And I started laughing. Man, go to practice that night. Come in, we take our 3 laps. We go right to the mirror drill. Lead them. That's me. Get up front. So, no, make them work. What is that shit? I slide for 2 minutes, leading them, right? And now they take 2 laps before the next one. I'm getting ready to take my lap. No. Keep sliding. I'm like, and you know pros, when we take laps, we getting a rest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking
Time
at these
out.
brothers come back, give them 3 minutes. So I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to get traded at this point. You feel me? I told Terry Cummins, I was like, TC, man, I'm ready to get traded, man. He's like, man, slow down. Now we go through that whole 30 days, man. Soon as that camp is over, he became the coolest coach ever.
Mm-hmm.
A player's coach. But you know what he told me after it all? He's like, the way you get control of your team is make them all hate you. And once you get them all hating you, you got them. And now with him, he put everybody through that, and it was like, man, we hate this cat, man. Nelly be sitting there, and you know Milwaukee, how cold it is. We used to practice in this place called Cardinal Scritch College. Old school, no heat, dead of winter, right? Nelly sitting in there in a parka and smoking cigarettes while we running laps. And it's like, man, and Nelly was always, he was cool to the point where you could joke with him, but he was serious about winning.
Mm-hmm.
He was serious about winning, unless we played the Celtics, and then it was like, he ain't gonna coach.
He ain't gonna coach?
Nah, man.
Why not?
Red Auerbach. He outread his career. So we go in Boston Garden, we waiting for Nelly to give us one of these bomb inventions on the sideline and timeout. He's silent. Man, it's the Eastern Conference Finals, man. No rip. Okay, all right, okay.
Going through the motions.
That's like the coach from The Waterboy. Remember when he was intimidated by the other coach?
Exactly.
That's basically what he did us though after we beat Dallas.
Yeah.
He shut it down.
What about Steve Fisher? Why is Steve Fisher been able to be so pivotal with basketball?
I think, one of the things when Steve was in the high school Steve, that which happened with not dissing Chris at all, that would have never happened with my high school team. Never. Because Fish made sure you was on point and locked in. But it happened, but he was always understanding of the impact that players could have, especially going into college. He understood that he couldn't be the ass he was when he was around us in high school, so he became more calm, and he came into great situations, man. You know what I'm saying? He came into, when that 5-5 thing went down, that was perfect timing. He had recruited them all, and you were second in charge, and then the coach steps down, so you're in good shape.
From Milwaukee to Chicago.
From Milwaukee to Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, I went from I got traded to Phoenix the same day with Kevin Johnson, Mark West, Tyrone Corbin. I came from Milwaukee for Jay Humphries. Jay went to the Bucks. I came to the Suns. I'm leading the league in three-point percentage at the time I get traded. When I get traded in, as soon as I get off the plane, I'm on IR. I don't know how did this happen, but okay, cool. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go home with some hard work because I'm going to be the three-point title. And, we only had maybe 15 games left after that because we weren't going to the playoffs. And then I went to training camp the following season, and I got traded probably like almost December. And what's cool about that situation is that Jerry Colangelo went to high school with all my family. He's from Chicago Heights. The gym at Bloom High School is named after Jerry Colangelo. So when he called me in to trade me to Chicago, he's like, yeah, Craig, Cotton would love to have you, Cotton Fitzsimmons would love to keep you as an insurance policy, but I got a trade you might like. I was like, what's up? He's like, Chicago. I was like, oh, man. He's like, yeah, make sure you tell your family hi. I was like, cool, man. It was cool from that point on to be able to come home and be the first homeborn champion, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to look at it from a different perspective that had I came to Chicago as a rookie, I wouldn't have been ready. But to be able to come in as a 6-year veteran with playoff experience, probably more playoff experience, the other person that might have had more than me was Bill Cartwright. So you come in with a level of, seniority and a mindset that you're ready to deliver, man. I remember we played the Bulls when I was in Milwaukee. And you know how you're going through layup line and you cross paths. And I remember crossing paths with MJ and we dapped it up. And I told him, I said, man, if we ever get together, we're going to win championships. And we kept going. Yeah. And we came back. Yeah. And I tell people, when you look at the numbers, he's 23, I'm 14. Mm-hmm. My 1 and my 4 encompasses 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Together they equal 10. So ain't no way we could lose. Ain't no way we could lose.
So your first year in Chicago, you guys lose to Detroit.
Yes, and get our ass whooped. Oh, they laid it on us.
What'd you guys learn from that?
That the biggest thing was their physicality versus our athleticism.
It's the MJ rules.
Okay. So when they was knocking MJ down, they'll tap Scottie out a little bit. Okay. We would react to them taps. The following year, it was make sure that when anybody got tapped, 2 or 3 of us go over there quick and get them right to the line or get them up and let's go. Yeah. That it ain't going to be us lingering over this hit or looking back. No. Get your ass up, get to the line, make your free throws. They going to foul you because they can't stop you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because the athleticism that we had in our front line, man, was stupid at that period of time. And being able to play under the system that we played under. With Doug, it was tough because everything was run so much through MJ that it was hard for the younger cats, Pete, BJ, Stacy, for them to be able to see how this is played, So once it became a thing where everybody was going to get touches, it became a different game, man. And once again, it was, MJ was hot with the system when it was brought to him. He didn't want to run triangle, but it was like, and that's another thing, watching The Last Dance and the aura of the mystique of Mike and the aura of the mystique of MJ or 23 or whatever you want to call it, and the reality of what the locker room was like, that wasn't a senior, he wasn't a senior in the class, you know what I'm saying? That was Bill Cartwright. So it wasn't ever where he was going to outspeak Bill or he was going to outspeak Hodge because it was seniority. You came in the league, we was in the league when you came here. Different rules. It's not going to be, different level. So people from the outside would see it one way, but we on the inside understood it to be what it was, and that, you know, when things would go awry, it was gonna be, yo, Teach, and that's what we call Bill Cartwright. Yo, Teach, what's up? And he gonna let it be known, and wasn't nobody gonna challenge that. And that's the part where I think, you know, the whole media side of things can cause friction. You know, when I look at the opportunity that Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler had together in Chicago, but the media wanted to make it whose team is it, as opposed to see these young brothers realize what we could do as a camaraderie and make this thing go for a championship. And that's the part that, you know, understanding that different systems, and that's what I tell people all the time, I don't care what you're in, systems win championships. And every system that has a defensive component on it, defense wins championships. So we hang our hat on defense, and the way that we do that is going to give us an opportunity to bust out of this thing and play offense the way we want to play it, which is run. People think that triangle, slow down. You think about it. We wanted to run most of the time. When we're trying to do the triangle, we're trying to run to numbers. Now, if the numbers ain't there, let's flow into our system and get things popping off, you know, without the ball getting stuck in one place.
Yep.
You know?
Pippen.
Incredible. Yeah.
You were telling me, this is one thing I asked you. I asked you two things, and we'll get into it. I was like, how good was he? And should he feel the way he should feel towards Mike at this point? I think that was some kind of something like that. But talk, how good was he?
I think he was better than MJ just from a natural, you 6'7" with the same components, but not only is your right, your left is that big. You know what I'm saying? And you finishing with both equally like that. The difference was that the level of confidence coming out of, and so much, when we look at it, think about it. If you think about how many guys you played with, so much was given to them that lent to their confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I know that I got all of these people behind me and all of these people supporting me, then I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna play a different way. As opposed to, I gotta prove to these people that I'm capable. Scottie come in having to prove himself from Central Arkansas, as opposed to knowing that, dude, I'm 6'7", I got handles, I can jump, I can shoot. I still gotta prove myself, where M was already proven to a degree. It was just a matter of how good he was gonna become. And that, you know, when I look at Pip's development, Scottie's silly, man. Scottie and Horace, they used to keep things so lighthearted because they were silly young folks. But they played hard and they got better every day. And I think that's the part that Pip became better with every touch. And I think, you know, when they named him the top 50, it took his confidence to a different level. But I think he felt that MJ could have done more from a business side of helping him. You know what I'm saying? From a side of saying, all right, you think of how many professional athletes today and of yesteryear who gave a piece of themselves contractually in order to keep my boy here. You know what I'm saying? And that, I think Scottie wanted a little bit of that to happen. And you know, sometimes, you know, the friendship, and like I saw it, a piece the other day where they was asking Scottie if him and Michael ever had a dinner together. He's like, no. And I could see that. I could see them never sitting down. That's
hard to believe, though.
You know, yes, it is. But then when he said no, I was like, I thought y'all had. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you know, if nothing else at the Olympics or Dream Team, sometime y'all had to sit down. But I could believe it. After talking about it, him talking about it the way he did, I could believe it, you know. But it's not, you know, it's not taking anything away from what we did on a basketball level. What are we doing as men? You know what I'm saying? Where are we at right now, man? Like I said, we too old for that dumb shit right now.
Way too old for it.
You spoke, hold on, where do I want to go there? I don't want to go there. Talk to me about the one time you guys were finishing up the season against Miami.
Right.
And you were going to see them in the first round of the playoffs.
Exactly. We're playing in Miami. We rolling at this time. The system is really playing for itself. And that's the cool part about the system. Once you get into it, you just come to games, man. You done did it so much and it flows. So we go to shoot around and we're leaving shoot around and we're on the bus and MJ like, man, drop me off here. And drop him off at the bar. He say he's going to have some beers, right?
Huh?
Say he's going to have some beers.
Listen to the rest of this story,
okay,
bro.
Go and have some beers. So he tell us to pick him up on the way back to the game. We pick him up. He still got his sweats on. You know MJ come to the game suited and booted, all right? He still got his sweats on. pick us up. You get on the bus. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Right? Bubbly. You can smell the beer on him. Got 30 at half. All right? Going through warm-ups, man, I'm seeing 3 rims. I'm going to shoot at the one in the middle. Okay?
That's hard.
Okay? And then told us, if y'all can't beat them, we don't need to win a championship. Y'all can beat them without me. But came in there and he got it done early and wouldn't sit down. Okay?
Fresh
Wouldn't
off
sit
of
down?
Wouldn't sit down.
That's why that's the kind of shit. Not that, but it bothers me what Dallas's management is trying to portray Luka as. Like, we aren't grown men and can handle what we need to do. They're mad because they think he smokes hookah and drinks beer. Like, if you knew what motherfuckers was really doing and still going out there and being professionals, like, shut that shit
and that's
up.
the crazy part is they know it ain't. You know, they can play it off like they don't. You paying the amount of money. You're investing to know what these cats are doing. So you know as well as anybody. It's just a matter that now you want to use that as a means of the reason you got rid of them or whatever. But it's sickening, man. It's it's that the same old. You control the media, so you can control the narrative to a good degree.
Let's talk about you talking to Magic and Michael about sitting out.
Right. That was our 1991 championship. And the Rodney King stuff went down, and we was 20. I think 21 of the 24 athletes is us. And, I harken back to, I brought to them that in 1963, that's how we got a union, is by us boycotting at the playoffs.
One sec. Keep your thought. Was this them together or separately?
Separately.
Okay. So you talked to Mike and then you talked to Magic.
Exactly.
Okay.
And MJ, I spoke to him before practice. I was like, dude, if we boycott this first game, how much action they gonna have to do for us, whether it be in the front office, whether it be in ownership, they gonna have to make some concessions. And me knowing, studying All-Star Weekend and how the union came about. When Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and the brothers said we ain't gonna play, concessions were made so that game could go on. Same thing would happen. Y'all know, if 20 minutes on the clock, the Lakers don't come out on the court, Bulls don't come out on the court. The media is saying, crazy. Oh, they're playing mental games. 18 on the clock. Somebody from the organization is coming down there, what's going on? 21 of the 24 athletes can say, we're not going to play until we get some concessions. Concessions going to be made right away. Magic said it was too severe. MJ said he wasn't doing it. Okay? My thing was, okay, had I had the mindset now, I wouldn't have played. You feel me? But I wasn't thinking, once again, me thinking in the collective.
Yeah.
Not me thinking that me gonna step out here. Now when we went to the White House, it was a different thing. We here and this is what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be on, because ain't nobody else gonna bring this. So I gotta make sure I deliver this message that needs to be delivered and should have been delivered a long time ago. I gotta make sure I give it to you so you can say you got it and put it on a historical record.
Talk to us about what that message was and what you did.
Well, once we won a championship.
This is the 91 chip?
First championship. Okay. When we lost in Detroit, Doug was coach. We crying like babies, man. And I'm like, you know what? It hit me sometime during the season that we need ancestral help on this thing, that we ain't got enough heart right now. So I said, I'm going to wear dashikis. I wore a dashiki for every playoff game. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it was a thing that this is our cultural heritage. And when we went to the White House after winning, I warned them the whole time to the point, you know how we are, people in the front office. Hodge, you wearing a dashiki tonight? I got enough of these for a whole year, bro. Okay, so let's roll. We got this. So everybody looking for it. Now when we go to the White House and I wear a dashiki to the White House and the national media is there, it's a different project, all right? Likewise, when I get there, I wrote a letter the night before. And the crazy part with that, I'm playing ping pong with my boy. And it hits me. Man, you better write that letter. And I'm thinking, when it hit me, I harken back to when I was in 6th grade, man. And I was writing a letter to the mayor. You feel me? When I was in college, I'm writing a letter to the Congress people. And I'm like, you're going to the most important time in your life, sit your butt down and write. And the thing that, for me, it was about us getting a chance to go was special.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. You got him.
Yeah.
I told him, that's one of your people.
And I told him.
Yeah.
I told him.
You
I
got
told
him.
him. I told him. Yeah. Violation.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Shot clock violation.
Yeah, man.
So you're writing this letter. You're
So-
headed to the White House the next day. What's
next
this letter
day-
consist of?
It's mainly asking the president to consider the issues of poor people. You know, I'm getting a chance to come to this great edifice, you know, and it's the seat of power, you know, and being a descendant of a former slave, I would like you to consider the issues of poor people and people of color the same way you consider foreign policy. You feel me? And everybody took it as meaning that, oh, Hodge wrote a letter, a militant. Look, I ain't never had no weapons. I don't own no guns. I ain't never had no gun. I shot a BB gun when I was in 6th grade, and I shot a bird in the eye, and I looked at the eye, and I shot that bird in the eye. That bird fell to my feet, and I started crying. And I took that gun apart and threw it every place I could, and I said that wouldn't happen again. So for me, it ain't about being a militant. It's about being able to stand on the principles that I was taught about and knowing that my hero is Dr. King from afar, you know, and then I got to learn about Malcolm. But I vibe on Dr. King because I don't like violence, you know, and I feel like there's no reason for it. The only reason for it is greed more than anything, that those who have the ability and power to make weapons of war, it's about greed. It's not about people. And we can talk all of this we want to, but the reality for me was knowing that I'm getting a chance to go to the White House. I might not get a chance to come here. We know you won one championship.
Right.
You don't know if you're going to win again.
Right.
And to get a chance to go to let the president know that, you know, could you consider our issues? And he was cool as a fan, man.
You handed him this note?
No, I couldn't hand it to him because
Okay.
when I got, I told Tim Hallam, who was our press person, I said I wrote the president a letter. And then when he got there, he told him that one of our players has a letter you want to give to the president, but you can't hand him anything directly.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, so I gave it to his press secretary. But it's part of the library down in Dallas.
So, hold on, excuse me, man. A lot of people don't know they wasn't offended by or worried about you putting people together and going to shoot people. They was used to that. You was shooting with your mind.
And,
That's what offended them. That's what they was worried about.
And you know the crazy part that you say that, man, is that when I'm playing, I'm communicating with people. I'm like I said, I'm a talker, and I get excited about info. So if I get some information today, I'm gonna try to share it with y'all.
Exactly.
You feel me? And my teammates, John Paxson tell you, John be like, man, Hodge wasn't being preachy or nothing. He was just wanting to share his info with us. And we was cool with him sharing it with us.
Right.
But when it comes to that information being able to affect the bottom line or something,
Right.
then it becomes a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I tell y'all something. Remember when the brothers were wearing I Can't Breathe shirts? All right. We don't realize how much power we had right then.
We didn't. Me and you was in the field. We was in the field.
Yes. Saw you in Chicago.
Yep.
And it was wild to me to see how worried they were when they saw brothers with shirts talking about I Can't Breathe with them shirts on and their uniforms. But had we said we not taking these shirts off to show these uniforms until changes are made. But the bubble, why did we go? Why did we go to the bubble? And I told people this. I said, regardless to what we want to look at, we have to realize how important the NBA is to the bottom line of economics. All right? COVID didn't start until old boy from Utah started talking crazy with the mic.
The NBA shut the world down. When it went down, everything else followed in suit.
Now the crazy part.
Now they don't like it.
This the funny part for me was when we went into the bubble. What did the bubble look like to you? You know what the bubble looked like to me? A video game.
AAU.
It was a video game. So I said, okay, let's look at it like this way. If we can't get fans in the stands. We can get fans on our video games. So we're going to make this shit look as much like a video game, and we're going to get as many people on Y2K as we can. Because we got to continue to make this bread how we can make this bread, y'all. And it's cool. It's cool. So like with this, I know a lot of people that know me right now, when y'all show this, and I don't know how much you're going to cut, but they're going to get worried about this part. This part right here. Because for me, they're going to worry about Hodge. All right? A lot of people worried about Hodge because of Hodge speak.
I love it.
I can't help it. I can help it if I get muzzled to help it. You know what I'm saying? That shut it down, boom, ain't nothing happening. Then, but other than that, if you're going to sit and talk to me, we got to talk about the reality of where we are and the reality of why we are here. See, it's like right now, the thing that's affecting every single person on the planet is Elon Musk right now. Just by going through USAID, United States, right? International development. That's critical, us. That's critical. I love this. I love that. Oh, all day. All day. We'll love that. And we didn't have to worry about these matters.
Right.
But I got to worry about them.
Got to.
The reason I got to worry about them, because 99.9% of my people are not studying this.
Right.
They're not even conscious of what's getting ready to come down the pipe. Okay? And that's the part for me, is that we who are making these billions of dollars and millions of dollars, y'all, we're getting ready to have the most vital role. We're going to have so we're going to be able to put our money where our mouths are now. Okay? It ain't going to be no thing where somebody going to be able to say, you know what, I'm giving back to the community. Okay. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see how much you're willing to give back when this thing goes down on a level that nobody has ever seen before. All right? The reason we ain't never seen it before is that we have never had the historical events that have happened in America happen in America. For one, have we ever been in America as black men and we sat home and got paid? No. Did it happen in COVID? Did it happen?
Yep.
Did we sit at home and get paid?
Yep.
Never in history, right?
Right.
Okay. We got put, look at this, y'all. The only people that are more brainwashed than us, and maybe they're not because they're in their own land, is North Korea. We the dumbest people on the planet. You know why? And this ain't no diss. I'm talking about me. I love being here. My father was in Korea War. My uncles was in Vietnam. My other uncles was in Germany. So I got we got patriotic shit going on too. But the patriotism from this end is one that I got to work, that I got to do this work. And me doing the work has got to be able to tell to people who don't know. And this right here, this medium was given for this moment in time, or we would not be sitting here. There ain't no coincidences, y'all. None. So the fact that you seen my godson, I was supposed to be in Frisco, you seen all of this happens for a reason. And the reason is more profound than we could ever think about, because the creator wrote the plan from the end to the beginning. Right. And we're at this point. Right. But we can see by the markers in the sand. We can see it. If we can't see it, we blind. If we can't, check this out. If we can't see it, you don't want to see it. If you don't understand what TikTok is, you don't want to see it, black folks. So when I see my people battling on TikTok, that bothers me. That bothers me. Because why are we battling? For what? I thought we had grown. So when we use these mediums, they have to come across with some positive things that are going to reconstruct our historical legacy. Right. It's been buried. We got to reconstruct it. We got to reinvigorate it. And we got to re-civilize America. Make America great again. Okay. When was it great?
Not for us.
When was it great? And let me say something. And when I say that, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that from give me that mindset so I will know, because I understand great over here. I had a great childhood. I had a great poor childhood. I had a great segregated childhood because we were taught to love one another. And it wasn't no, it takes a village to raise it. No, no.
But none of that.
We was in the hood and we were neighbors. So it was neighborhood. Now it ain't, don't nobody know their neighbor and don't care to. And that's America. And that's the problem with me is that, okay, Craig, you were taught, you were blessed by your mom with a certain thing on her mind because your mother saw while she was 9, 7, 6 months pregnant, she saw dogs being sicked on her people. She saw pictures of people being lynched. That was going through her to me. Now, what am I supposed to do with that? Just hoop? Just hoop. Hooping, what they tell LeBron? Shut up and dribble. Whoa, how cold was that? How cold was that? And the cold part of it is, how many people think about us like that?
A lot.
In so many circles, we are seen as a tool of oppression, a medium to keep us looking at goals that are unattainable. In 1978, when I graduated from high school, they said 1 in 52,000 children had a chance to be a professional athlete on any level. That's 1978. What is it now with the internet? You feel me? Your sons, your twins, they got it, man. How many they got to battle against?
Everybody.
You know? So when we look at this, and you know, not to ramble, but once again, like I said, y'all invited me, I thank y'all, and to be able to get this out off of my chest. You feel me? Because the consequences, people say, man, you what? Man, that jump shot at the White House, that cost me $50 million. $50 million, at least. We ain't even talking about investment capital. If I get $1 million and I buy $1 million in gold. But it ain't John Carlos, one of my heroes, had a chance to talk to him and to know what he went through. Wife, so despondent, commit suicide after 1968. And this brother ran his best, ran for the country, but stood for his people too. And see, and then it becomes a thing, are we Americans? Are we Americans? Should I get backlash for being able to tell what y'all taught me? Y'all say, go to school, read, learn, write. I go to school, read, interpret what I read in a certain manner, go out and live my life in that manner that I read and that y'all said was cool because I'm free. But then it becomes a problem because now when I say and write a letter to the president at 32 years of age, I can't get an agent to represent me in a union that is supposed to represent us. Charlie Grantham, who's the head of the union at the time, when I go to the White House, he tells me, Craig, we have to find an agent that a team owes a favor so they'll know that you're not a bad guy. And I quote, I'll never forget that. And I'm like, Charlie, what did I do wrong? I won 2 world championships. I got 3 consecutive three titles right now in my pocket, and I can't get a job? What did I do? I've never been fined since I've been in the league. I never missed a bus. I was player rep as a rookie. That's unheard of. I've been player rep for every team I played for. Where is the badness in that? Once again, those who control the narrative, so the narrative of me going to the White House in this manner, me having the audacity to write the president a letter, which until probably 5 or 6 years ago, nobody asked me what was in the letter. Nobody, yo, man, what did you write? Then I look at Colin Kaepernick, the position that he took. The union made concessions for him to get a workout at least. If they'd have told me to come work out, I'd have wouldn't worked out anywhere, Stak. You feel me, bro? Anywhere. I don't care, bring y'all. This is what I want to do. I ain't gonna have no demands on who need here to just work out. No, let me go work out because this is what I'll do. And y'all taking away from me the ability to earn a living for my family and the generations thereof. And all I'm saying is, to Commissioner, should he see this, to all those who are his underlings or in the social justice or whatever, I ain't got no animosity. I got love and energy for this knowledge base and what my ancestors went through. So I vibe on that. So when y'all see this is me hooping now. You feel me? My hoop is my research. My research is being able to make sure that if somebody has some questions about this, I'm able to at least give a valid answer. And if I can't, I'm going to research and find it. So the next time you see me, I'm going to have that answer for you, bro. So that we can move forward from wherever you stuck on trying to figure out whatever it is, we can find an answer for it if we sit down and we unite ourselves. There, it's already done. Sorry to ramble, brothers.
No.
Nah, I'm enjoying it. That's the free game I wanted. I don't even know.
Oh, I was about
How
to
do we
ask
go? Where
something
do we
too.
go from there?
Damn, I had a question for you. Damn it.
That's like a step back.
Hold on. I got to remember this question. I got to. Give me a second.
Yeah, come around.
Yeah, give me a second.
During that time when I seen you in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
what were your thoughts of
I was so scared for you. You don't know how scared I was for you, bro.
I think you told me that.
You don't know how scared I was for you. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was some sisters standing there. I say, sis, look up there. Have you ever seen anything like that where you standing in here? We was on the west side, right?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
West side. Not no quasi-west side that's regentrificating. No.
No. Yeah.
Okay?
Somebody that just got killed there a couple of days before we
Now,
was there.
bro, let me show you something.
The same
okay?
block.
See, one thing about me, I've been taught by some great brothers on just little things, okay? And the first thing I do is I look,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I'm looking where you getting ready to come into. What do we see around?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, home girl, let me ask you something, sis. Look over there, look upstairs over there. What you see? She said, hey, that's weird. I said, what's weird about it? She said, why is it two white men standing up there in that window?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right? Now, 5 minutes later, a suit show up in the window.
That day?
That day. Okay? Now, I know this though.
Mm-hmm.
I know this. I know who I work for. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I know who I work for. And it ain't even no, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I see him, I'll let them see I see him.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my boy, we walk over there and we look up at him. Yeah, we see y'all. Gone back.
Mm.
Okay? And see, all of this is chaos, bro. All of this is chaos. All right? Understand, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Take it for what it's worth, and then watch and take it for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at that point in time, the way y'all was moving.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all was moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried about how hard y'all was moving.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? Not worried about the final result,
Right.
but my people
Yeah.
who are standing on something that may be in harm's way because, man,
It's powerful.
there's no other way but to do it.
And I had no clue. I was blind to a lot of stuff.
But see, once again, you know, that whole move, bro. You ever heard of George Soros?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Study. We just had to study. The bottom line that they taught us, you know what they taught us? The lesson they taught us best? One lesson, follow the money. It's going to tell you. It's going to tell you. Okay? Everybody who is big has a original backer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to operate outside of that. Okay? You can find out if you want to look at it. Howard Oprah, Merv Griffin, Michael, Brother Knight. Okay? Look at these.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our operational, do I operate outside of that once I get that big? Or do I still have, I got to, okay, what you want me to do? All right. And that's where we are right now is that, hey, man, and it's a fear factor. Fear of speaking because your bread might stop flowing.
Fear of the unknown of you speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I heard when I wasn't playing? He can't play defense. NBA is team defense. Ain't nobody stopping no one person. He can't, okay, I can't play D. All right, what's the next one? What's the next one? What's the real reason? I'm a locker room lawyer. For real. But okay, I'm a locker room lawyer, but do anybody shoot like me? And that's the funny part about it to me is that, we talking about putting a ball in the basket. That's simplicity. Thinking about ways to change the condition of our people. It ain't even close.
Not even.
It ain't even close. That's why I say basketball, man, please. We can shoot all day. And we know we good over here.
Mm-hmm.
Children taken care of, generations taken care of, peace in the world. Man, let's go hoop.
Mm-hmm.
But until that, man, we got to put in some study time. That's why I feel like during that COVID period, it gave us the greatest opportunity to study and research.
Sit still.
Man. And that's like you say, that's one of the hardest things for, and in wisdom, man. In wisdom is to be able to sit still and know that anything that became great or moving towards greatness is done in patience.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be patient, Be patient with the process. And it's a process. This is a process. It's a process that y'all get this going. It was basketball first, now I've been
5 years later.
You know what I'm saying?
Still here.
And then once again, it began with a thought. Y'all brothers sitting down somewhere saying, yeah, man, we could do that. Let's do this shit. And then pop off. Now all of a sudden, you got staff you hiring. Got people you feeding. People who are able to say, man, I'm with them. That is powerful. And that's the part that is so needed and necessary for this next generation to see that is more than me going to jack somebody, me selling this or me selling that. We have become such a transactional people that I got to get the next hit as opposed to being a transition. That it's a transitional mindset that I'm going from this point and I'm going to be at this point and I'm going to be solid at this point. And being able to look back and say, damn, I'm a professional now. And I tell people, it's a big, when they put that pro, whether you be a lawyer, doctor, whatever, when they put that pro in front of your nation, you done did some stuff. You done put in some work and you've been patient with the process to get there. And so many of us are, and that's what I tell like my baby boy. And I love it that he totally anti-TikTok, all that. He about researching his music, his golf, he doing that. And I'm like, kudos, bro, because as long as you continue, I love messing with words, knowledge, 2 words, no ledge. As long as I'm seeking, I'm going up, I ain't gonna fall off. Ain't no ledge. So as long as we working and studying, I ain't gonna fall. Ain't no how. Because the thing that, when you playing, somebody just bust you up and then you do this. You feel me? Ain't no thoughts down there. Man, once you look up, the whole world change.
So basically that letter to the president changed your life and your career.
No question. I went from being the 8th player on the team in minutes played and points scored to the last player on the team and still won another 3-point title.
But you also told me after the fact, a lot of your brothers or former colleagues told you they felt bad because they left you.
Oh, no doubt.
All by yourself.
Yeah,
explain that, and if you want to share names, cool. If not, but what did that mean to you after the fact?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and once again, it's the realization that we were where we were at that time, 1991. I was 31 years old. You know what I'm saying? And some of the young brothers that I was talking to, they was in their 20s, man, and not having done the research or whatever. So I man, I appreciate the apology. I appreciate all of that. I'm not, not that I'm looking forward to anything, but knowing that now in your wisdom, you seeing it, and you seeing it for what it was, that a brother was trying to share information with you, and the same information that I was sharing to you back then. Now you on it now.
Yeah.
And you on it, you know what I'm saying? To the point where you call me and they be, man, excited about stuff. And I'm like, yeah, brother, right on. I'm glad you moving, because that's what it is, man, is to be able to get information and keep moving in it and not get stuck. But at the same time, knowing that how much could we have done with that time, during that period of time, had we got on board with the info that we was talking about. And for me, it's like, okay, once again, I'm a child of the Most High, man. I ain't trying to be no. Me is me. And that's all I can be is me. So I love researching, and I love to be able to share that information, because I know it's going to be needed and necessary in the next couple days, so that when our people look and say, how the hell did we get where we at? Somebody going to be able to tell them, yo, let me show y'all this, okay? It started back here. Okay, we going on the gold standard, just so y'all know, okay? So that 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, is coming back, all right? So all this stuff you see with Trump and Elon Musk and man, it's the wild part. Everybody he picked on his staff is billionaires, all right? One thing I had to give him credit for, they know how to move these things, all right? Now, this other thing I got to tell you on the flip side of that. If you're a billionaire in America today, you done stepped on a bunch of people, okay? You didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
You didn't. Now, you can be philanthropic now. I'm a humanitarian, and it's one of how billionaires get billionaires humanitarian awards. Come on in here, Ocho. Yeah, he did a great job. He gave $1 million, but he just made $4 billion off of poor people in Asia or Africa. So things are flipping. Things are flipping, and it's flipping for the better, because people who have heretofore had minerals underfoot, they have not been able to get them from under their feet. And now it's a different world. It's a different day. And America, regardless to how bright we may make this thing, we've been very bad to the neighbors, whether it be here or abroad. And now, not like Malcolm said, chicken summoned on the roost, but we better get ready for some rough times as far as economics, because the dollar compared to other currencies is going to go the opposite direction. And we got to be ready for it.
The revolution is televised now.
Wow.
We talk about our time, but Kendrick, that was bigger than Drake. If you paid attention to it, it was way bigger than Drake.
And that's the part where, that's where I feel like the beefing part comes in, so that you won't that's exactly.
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
It was Drake was a small part. If you look at if you knew what he was, all the stuff that he was talking about in that performance, Drake was a very small part of it.
You were able to get one more championship in '92, and then you were released.
Right.
And then you sued the NBA in '96. Can you share what that was about?
Yeah, it was. So I get a call. I've been calling the commissioner's office, and at that time the head security guy was Horace Balmer, and Horace calls me back. Like, Horace, I ain't did shit wrong. What you calling me for? I'm calling to see what's going on. I was calling to ask the commissioner, why am I being stonewalled at every turn? I can't get an agent. I can't get a team to talk to me. Tex Winter, who done worked in the league for damn near 40 years, every team he called, don't nobody calling back. And he said, this is the first time, Craig, in my career that I can call teams on a player behalf and they ain't even call me back. So he suggested to me, Craig, it's time for you to start coaching. So at that point in time, I called the league to ask him, yo, man, what's going on? And Horace calls me back, and I'm like, yo, what you calling me for? Well, I'm trying to find out what's going on. I'm like, I just want to find out why I'm being stonewalled. And he's like, well, it ain't nothing like that. I said, well, I need to get me an attorney. And he was like, well, you don't need to do that. And then the phone clicked. And I was like, okay. So at that point in time, I decided to get an attorney. Now, the brother that I get out of Chicago, his name was David Odom. Didn't realize at that time he was trying to do things with the league and as far as representing players. All right. So I never got a day in court. All right. Even though I was under litigation for, I guess, almost 2 years or whatever, I never went to court. And it was finally dismissed because the statute of limitations for racial discrimination claim is 2 years. Now, in 1992, June 1992, going in championship, right? We're in layups. I'm an active player. Soon as that season was over, I had to file that suit that day. Or the clock started ticking.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So once again, and you know what the response to me on that one was? Just because you're ignorant to it, don't make you immune to it. And I'm like, cool, I'm good. Now I know.
Let's get back before I want to obviously touch on, you're giving so much gems on the dark side, but you are a 3-time champ. Talk to us about that 3-point contest and why, or was it 4-time? 3 in a row.
3 in a row, and then the 4th time, I didn't win the 4th time. The last time I got to go, I wasn't with a team, and they let me participate.
But he's a 4-time champ.
Yeah.
So
Two
with that, no one else has ever done it in NBA history, and yet no one really knows that either.
Right. And that, you know, I think part of it is, you know, the ability to, you know, Jim Brown said to me, and love him as well. He told me, he said, man, the professional sports teams control the media. And I was like, okay. Then you finally see it when you get older. You see how certain teams have certain media people that they align to get their message out or send out little dibs or whatever. And for me, I think that that's what it boiled down to, that the NBA realized that what I did at the White House or whatever, it wasn't in conjunction with what they wanted. But at the same time, it was one of the things that you can't deny what I've done as far as shooting a basketball. You know, to this day, I don't think anybody competed in more 3-point contests than I did. I lost probably the first 4, you know, to Larry, and then I think Dale Ellis might have won, and then I won my 3. But, you know, it was one of those things, man, for me, it was just a competition of knowing that this is something that I love to do, shoot the ball, but at the same time, to be in a competition of it, that's pretty cool. And to be able to put up some records and to be able to know that, you know, at that point in time, at a point in history, I could say that I was the best shooter on the planet.
What are some of the characteristics the best shooters have?
Well, for me, it's 3 parts of your shot: foundation, form, and follow through. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to know how to rhythmically do that, to do it off the dribble, to do it off the catch, to what are you looking? One of the first things I ask somebody is, what are you looking at when you shoot? You know what I'm saying? So for me, I look at probably 6 inches above the rim. That's what I'm focused on. And if it's off glass, it's 6 inches off the glass, 6 inches above the rim off glass. That no ball can go in that rim unless it's at least, whether you're dunking it or not. You got to have at least that much clearance. So my thing is, when I hear people say, I'm looking at, you know, young folks say, I'm looking at the back of the rim. You couldn't be looking at the back of the rim because you're not 12 feet tall. So you're looking under the rim. So probably 90% of your shots are going to hit front rim because your eye is focused and your ball is going to go where your eye tells it to go. So I don't care who you're shooting with. When you look, that's where your ball is going to go. Now, whether or not you put enough energy or whatever, that's what the hell you're looking at. And that's the part where I tell people, and as far as how you plan, is I was blessed to have Tex. Like I said, Tex taught me to play with a 3-foot cushion around me. And that at 3 feet, I don't care if you Shaquille O'Neal. If I go into my J, by the time you react to that, it's going to be too fucking late. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be gone. And you're going to might clap my hand or whatever. But by that point, my ball is already gone. So in teaching it, I teach that, you know, foundation, form, follow through. I can actually say that when I'm shooting. So when I go into I like to shoot out of a 2-foot jump stop. You feel me? So I'm hopping into my shot. As I go into it, that's foundation. I'm going to say that. As I go up, I'm into form. And when I finish, I'm into follow through. And when I say follow through, the ball is coming through the net. And it's not. And when you teach children this, it gasses them because they swearing up and down that when they watch you shoot, that this is some type of magic trick. No. And the way that I teach that is that when I was in a 3-point competition, one ball that I shot with a money ball, it went through. And when I was watching in slow motion, it had the same amount of space all the way around the rim. So the ball was right in the center of the target. And it was the same amount of space around it. So I rewound that back to see what I did on that particular shot. And what I did, I brought it out the rack. I went into my hop. I went into my form. And I went into my follow through. And I started saying it at that point. And from, you know, like I said, for me, it's being able to, like, people would laugh when we would be watching tape when I was with the Bulls. Oh, look at Hodge over there. He jonesing. right? MJ would have the ball on the other side of the court, and I'm in this corner over here, and I'm in my triple threat position.
Ready to let that bitch go. If you get it.
Man. Man. You know what I'm saying? Man. And so it's a picture with me and MJ, and it's looking like he's talking in my ear. And people are like, man, what was he saying to you? No, it's what I was saying to him. Give me the ball, man. You feel me? And that's because if you throw it over here, it's going to be good 85 to 90% of the time, without question. That I'm not going to miss open. That ain't happening. No. Now, somebody running at me, maybe me coming off my tap too early and not getting this cocked. And that's one of the things that I want you to tell your children is, man, this is so critical.
I want you to teach them.
Yeah, this is critical right here, that this happens so much. All right? And I call that rolling into your shot. So we'll have people start here and you'll see them. And when they finally get to the top, this is happening. And I tell them, once you're at the top, bring that down. Bring that down. And now you're into your triple threat. So if you watch Kobe get that thing, MJ get that thing, you feel me? And now when you turn, it's already there.
Loaded.
It's already there. It's already loaded. You know what I'm saying? So being able to make sure that you work on that all the time. You work on that all the time, you know? And that this here, and once again, how do I make sure that I minimize the amount of error that can occur? All right. Once I take this out, this can't happen. So that's not going to be in my shot. Likewise, I want to make sure that when my ball starts, my ball never drops below my core. Ever, ever, ever. I'm never bringing my ball down to take it up.
Not mid-range?
Never. Because when I'm always going to make sure that my core is beneath my ball. My core is holding my ball, not my ball holding my core. I'm underneath it. I'm underneath that thing every time. So that this is a platform. My core sets the platform for my elbow. And then we up and away. We're up and away. So on catch, I'm creating my rhythm off that pass. All right? That rhythm off the pass is just like me off my dribble. So I go off my dribble into my hop. And by the time my feet come down, my wrist is cocked. And I'm gone. Where a lot of people come down or people go into a 1 count stride stop. You feel me? If I'm playing against a person that has a 1 count stride stop, going left to right to shoot, once I can gauge that, I'm not letting you get that right foot forward. All right? We played against Andrew Toney, who's one of the greatest scorers for the Philadelphia 76ers. We're playing them in the playoffs in Milwaukee. And once again, you know Nelly is stickler for tape. So we watching tape, and we watched him give the Lakers 30. And it went 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Man, we was like, oh, that's all we got to do. Man, we ain't doing nothing but riding that right side. Every time he got ready to come to a stop, no, jump on that right arm. And no. Because as players, we know what is our comfort zone. You feel me? And if I'm going into a 1 count stride stop in the first quarter, in the fourth quarter, it's not going to be nearly as strong with us jostling around and shit. You feel me?
So you're someone that thinks the 2 foot is for a jump shooter is better.
Yeah, and it's another reason for it. That if I catch this thing on catch.
Because they teach one, not to cut you off. Yeah, a lot of people teach the 1-2.
Oh, absolutely.
1-2 into it. 1-2. No, the hop step is too slow.
Check this out. James Brown, we on the 1 with the hop. You know, you on 1-2. So how is that faster? So when I got with the Clippers as a rookie, we're doing the turnout drill, right? I'm coming off this thing and my ball going to the rack so quick, they can't figure it out. Everybody else is coming down there, 1, 2. I'm coming around there. As that ball is coming, I'm turning my in the shoulder. Let it go. So it ain't no me turning when I get the ball. I'm already turning. You feel me? And that's the difference that I'm saying, okay, now, if I catch this ball and that camera's coming at me and I catching a 1 count stride stop, I'm locked with my pivot foot.
Yeah, you can play off.
But man, and the way these kids got these taps, I can tap and act like I'm going into my hop. I'm still ain't in it. I ain't still ain't ready. Now I got my 3 feet. And let it ride. And I tell people, you look at Steph. Steph not shooting that thing from 40 feet off of 1 leg. He's shooting that thing off a 2 foot jump stop. It's just happening so quick. And he's launching knowing that my follow through from 40 is going to be down here. not up here. So when he's shooting that thing and he finishing, he's still with it. And I'm telling kids, I'm not leaving my shot. I'm staying with it till I see the ball go through the net. If my ball is bouncing around the rim, I'm bouncing with it. I'm bouncing with it. I'm bouncing with it till it falls. Yeah. And then I'm done with it. Track the ball in the air? Never. My eyes on that 6-inch point. So when I catch that thing and I'm 94 feet away in full court pressure, my defense in front of me, I'm still looking at that 6-inch point. I can see you. You feel me? Now, when you get up in me, I got to turn. I might look at you for a second, but I'm back at my 6-inch point because that's where I want this thing to finally go. You feel me? And the more I keep my head and eyes up, the more I can see it early. It's like going into a gunfight blindfolded. So many kids come off of that jack, do all this, and now you're raising up. Now you're trying to find your target. All right? I find my target. And then like in the league, we think create, eliminate. Once I create my space, I eliminate defender. You feel me? Create my 3 feet, eliminate them. Create 3 feet, eliminate them. Catch off catch. If they there, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part where it's all about putting in the practice and knowing that, trusting in the process of what you're doing. So like you say, how my oldest boy, all-time 3-point shooter at Long Beach State. When he was in high school, they're trying to tell him to shoot differently. He's been doing this since he came out the womb, dude. So you feel me? Don't try to change it. And the thing about it is, I guarantee you, get them to look at them sites that we're talking about. All right. So many children are still looking at rim, or I'm looking at the hanger no, look at, because and the way I found out that I taught myself that was when I was growing up on the school ground, the light would go down from the sun and I could only shoot on this end. And I was seeing nothing but a line because there wasn't no net. So I was just trying to put my ball over that line. And I come out, that line is 6 inches above your target. And now it's all about training your eye where you're not looking at no rim. I'm not looking at the rim no more. I'm looking at that point in space, and if that ball goes on that point, it's going in. And we know that 2 balls can fit in the basket at one time, so why should I miss one?
You ever had one of those moments when you want to elevate your night? Maybe it's a dinner with friends or a celebration that calls for something extra. That's where Grand Marnier comes in. You probably heard of it, but have you tried the signature drink? The Grand Margarita. It's the twist of a classic margarita. It has the smooth richness of Grand Marnier's cognac, and combined with orange liqueur, a bit of citrus, and just the right amount of sweetness, with a taste like that, it's perfect for any occasion. Whether you're chilling at the crib or out with friends, a Grand Marg remixes a regular cocktail into something extraordinary. Don't just settle for a good cocktail when you can have something grand. It's about making your next drink one to remember. So when you're making your next margarita, remix it and make it grand with Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier liqueur, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink with style, drink responsibly.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Stak, what's one word to describe playoff basketball?
Intense.
Right now, you can get in on all the playoff action with my partners at DraftKings Pick 6. It's a fresh and exciting way to play daily fantasy sports.
All new customers who play just $5 will get $50 in Pick 6 credits to keep you in the game.
So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using code SMOKE and claim your offer.
Getting started is simple. Just download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and sign up with code SMOKE. Pick at least 2 players and choosers that have more or less of a stat.
Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using code SMOKE. Only at DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. What up, y'all? This is Matt.
Your boy Stak.
From the All the Smoke podcast.
Big news. We're teaming up with the ultimate sneaker plug, StockX.
You see it. It's on our feet. Let me put you on to something real quick. If you're serious about sneakers and style, you need to be on StockX.
For the rash kicks to the latest releases, StockX gives you access to everything you need to level up your game. No more missing out, just straight up access to what's next.
Head to StockX.com or download the StockX app to level up your collection.
It's the game changer. StockX. Now you know. Were you in that 3-point contest when Larry Bird said, how y'all doing, but who coming in second?
Peep this. Peep this. That's the very first one.
That's the first one you was in?
That's the first one they ever had.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know how they do the NBA. You come to take the pictures and all that. You getting ready to take the pictures, right? So everybody waiting on Larry to come in, right? Sitting there. Boom! Bust the door open. Walk around. You might do a little something. Yeah. Nah, you ain't got. Nah, you shot yourself out in warm-ups. Talking about Leon Wood. He said, nah, you shot yourself out in warm-ups. Might have problem. Yeah, okay. Who coming in second? Let's take the picture. And then take off his sweat jacket.
Yeah, he did not take his jacket off.
And take his sweat jacket off. But I tell people.
Where'd you place?
I came in. He beat me. He beat me that day. He beat me. Actually, the first year, the very first round, I set a record. I made 25 points in that very first round, ever. Then we went to the second round, and me and Dale Ellis tied. So we had to have a shootout. That shootout got my legs. And then I went to the finals, and Birdie got me. But yeah, Bird talk, and I love it because Birdie talked and he back it up. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was always a thing where a jump shooter would never win. And I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna win it at some point. It's just, like I said, trust the process and stay with it. So every year, I think I might have been in it 8 times, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Favorite part about playing with Mike?
Knowing that every time you walk into an arena, it's gonna be packed. You know what I'm saying? And there ain't no better, y'all know.
That's dope.
Y'all know. And knowing that it was like with being with the Beatles or somebody, man, that every place you go, we would drop MJ off around the corner before we get to hotels, man. He'd get in the white van and come through the different hotel, and we pull up in front of the hotel, 300 people out there waiting for him to get off the bus. Hey, man, he ain't here. Y'all standing there waiting, he ain't here, man. You know, so they would laugh because I would call him the president. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, dude, we would be in snowstorms, flying. We never went around. Ever. And they're like, we ain't gonna fly around. We got a national treasure on board.
We landing.
They getting us out the air. You feel me? Please. Please.
What was he like? I mean, we saw a side on The Last Dance. What was he like day to day?
MJ was different cat, man. You know, and you played around. Yeah. He different dude. Some days he be MJ. He laugh and go lucky. Then it might be some business shit on his head. You know what I'm saying? He come in different. But the one thing, when he strapped him up, he was coming to get down. You know what I'm saying? And I love that because that's the competition that we look for, is every day making each other better. So I tell people, yeah, y'all see MJ getting down, that's because I make him better every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that to see how, you know, you come into the league and you be like, you know, getting your feet wet or whatever, and you see how some people come into it with a certain, and they have the green light to do it too. So, you know, you hear MJ tell Phil, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Where other people are like, oh man, but it's one of them things where it's a certain level ground that he has compared to other players. And you know what I'm saying? And that it was a hierarchy to it. And he understood that. He understood what he brought to the table, what he brought to the team, what he brought to the organization, and what he could do with that. You know, how many freebies he got from that. You know what I'm saying? Driving free for Ferraris, getting houses built for you, all that type of stuff. So it's not, you know, it was one of those things that he could handle it. And he handled it, I guess, as best as anybody could because nobody ever been there. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Favorite part about coaching Kobe?
Just to see how, like you were saying, how in your case, how he saw how to help you get off when you didn't have it in your hand. All right? And he told me, say, man, how check this out. If I can get everybody to play at their greatest, not Kobe great, but their own, ain't nobody gonna beat us. And to me, that was something that I never would see MJ do. You feel me? If you got better with MJ, you got better. It wasn't never going to be like, man, brother, where Kobe would give you kudos if you getting better. That I didn't see that. I didn't feel that with MJ. I was around him. And I seen how many players went the other direction because of how he demoralized them with his bravado. You know what I'm saying? Where it was unnecessary. You didn't have to do that to that brother. because it's and that's the thing, is that it's a certain and different mentality and personalities that we deal with too. That some players are hardcore and can deal with it, but other players gonna back up and subside to it.
Quick hitters, first thing to come to mind, let us know. Rank your top 5 Chicago Hoopers ever.
Oh, gotcha. Top 5 Hoopers in Chicago ever. Billy Harris, who you probably, Billy played at Northern Illinois. He was a great shooter. I'd have to put Ben Wilson in there.
Benji.
Mitchell Anderson played in the league for Utah. He averaged 44 a game in my senior year in high school. Isaiah. And probably Quinn Buckner.
Quinn Buckner.
Quinn.
My guy.
Quinn might be number 1.
That's my guy.
You know he was the number 1 high school football and basketball player.
I didn't know he played both.
Quarterback and QB.
He was a commentator when I was playing for the Pacers.
Yeah, man.
My guy.
He Indiana game. He played football and basketball at Indiana till Bobby Knight told him he had to quit.
Yep. He was like that.
I'm telling you, man. They high school team, Thornridge High School, that Quinn went to, they lost 1 game in 2 years. Okay, their average scoring margin 30 points a game.
Damn, smacking people.
And I'm talking about where the high school team, Bloom High School, I sat there at half court and watched them play against Thornridge. They got the ball across half court 4 times in 1 half. Them mother press you, man, and ball wasn't even getting across half court, man. And Quinn was in the middle playing QB. Crazy.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
Yeshua, the Christ, 1. Probably Muhammad. Mansa Musa.
Richest black man ever.
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, my guy.
And Noble Drew Ali.
Marcus Garvey, my guy.
1 album you can play with no skips.
Hotter Than July. Stevie
Wonder.
I used to play that in college, man, and I wouldn't miss a jump of the whole album.
He said I wouldn't miss a jump of the whole
album.
I wouldn't miss a jumper the whole album.
I wouldn't miss a jump.
Nigga, you heard me.
Not
the
so.
whole album.
I wouldn't miss a jumper.
Not in one selection. Let the whole thing ride, and I bet you I won't miss one.
I ain't miss no jumpers. I'm telling you. I would go in the Long Beach State Gym by myself at night. So I would see, like with me, the brothers always try to get me to go to parties, right? So I dip in the party, act like I got a drink, and as soon as they turn their back, I'm gone, right? They coming from the party, I'm coming back from the
gym.
Man, why you didn't tell us? I didn't come here with you to tell you. So it's there for you to do too. You know what I'm saying? So that would, man, I would go in there. And y'all remember y'all probably too young. Remember the 8-track players with the plunger? That was me and my 8-track player. No misses, man.
That's
I'm telling
crazy.
you. That would be my thing was how long in a song I could go without missing, how many songs I could go. You feel me? That I could do 3-4 songs that are 3-4 minutes long without missing.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. The mindset.
You know what I'm saying? Don't count. You know, I go by how wet my shirt was. That I couldn't leave until a gray shirt was wet all the way down to the bottom. You feel me? My high school, that's why my high school gym, my junior year, I found out that I could tape the door shut in the gym, right? And it was a hollow point under the door. I could bring a hanger and just pull the door open. So I did this for like a month and a half. And then the janitor came around about 9:30 one night, see me in there, like, boy, how you get in there? I'm not telling you. He's like, no, you got to tell me. If you tell me, then you can just come to, all right, I'm going to tell you. And I showed him, he's like, boy, just come to the boiler room and I'll let you in. So I would go every night and shoot, by myself. And the thing that I did was that, and that, our boy Willie Burton.
Willie, yeah.
He does a thing on mental illness. So we was at All-Star Weekend last year, and he was saying how for us to pursue what we do, we have to be mentally ill because it ain't no outcome. You know what I'm saying? You doing this training, and ain't nothing on the other end of that. So you have to have some type of, so for me, man, I would go in the gym when I was in high school, and I would throw the ball up at half court, and I would play a whole game by myself. You feel me? Going up and down. Once I lay it up, I slide back on defense, sprint, lay it up, go to the free throw line, shoot 2. If I miss, I got a suicide. You know what I'm saying? So just being able to make it where I could be in total concentration for 2.5 hours if need be. All right? Steve Fisher taught me how to do it for 3.5 hours, and that shit came in handy when I got with Don Nelson. You feel me? That first training camp, because it was that thick.
What? Real deal. Guilty pleasure.
Ganja and butter pecan ice cream.
You smoked through college. I heard you started high school. When did you start smoking?
High school.
Okay, and it was just something that was always for you.
And it was crazy, high school. How, like I said, in Chicago, I see that brown box over there. That's what our weed was looking like.
Trash.
You feel me? Straight up, man.
Peyote.
Man, ugly. So I got to Long Beach State and sitting in the dorms, and the big center was from Redondo Beach, Kevin Ty.
Big white boy.
So Kevin's sitting there and he says, this is about the 4th or 5th day, we all in the dorm. He's like, do any of you guys smoke? I was like, brother, where you been? You know what I'm saying? And he pulls out
some
bud, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what's
nah.
that?
Coming from Chicago, we seen that green. That's homegrown.
Yeah.
Man, what is this homegrown? He was like, what you talking about homegrown? This is the kind. I'm like,
kind. This is kind. Where the white boys used to say that.
The kind. This is the kind. I was like, all right, brother. Exactly.
Yes.
Way before it could.
Yeah, man.
I got that kind bud.
I got that
You
kind.
smoking skunk and all that around that time.
Man.
I saw the on your documentary about how he said the coach knew he was high. It's like you went and splayed and it didn't fuck with you at all, but it did something to him.
Yeah, man, and his eyes would be beet red, right? Man, but the funniest part, we were playing Marquette, and the whole team, we was in the room. They got the mattress off, shooting dice, smoking weed, all that, right? So we go to the game, and we're laying an egg, right? Text calls timeout. And he look around, he's like, all of you guys, they're telling me my whole team is full of potheads. Man, my heart sunk. I'm like, oh, man, I'm getting ready to get kicked out of school. But he was like, he's like, let me tell you, I know what it does to you. It puts you in a state of euphoria. And you guys are walking around here think you're doing something. You're doing jack shit. Like, all right, Tex. All right, bro.
Oh,
man,
shit. That's
crazy.
Good. Anything you want to get out, say, anything you're working on?
Well, like I said, man, just I appreciate this opportunity, brothers. And like I said, man, just we're doing some of the stuff that we're looking at doing is putting together a training camp, a place that we can call our own, man, and actually do it on a level where it can be, be a mentorship place as well as a student athletics place.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, anywhere we can be helpful.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
Y'all,
Shit, we here now.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Man, we appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure getting to sit down and talk to you. And we wish you nothing but the best.
Oh, brother, it's already done.
Appreciate
y'all.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't do that. Hold on. I'm looking at your boy. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We know that's his phone. We keep going out. It's in your possession, though. It's in your possession, though.
Yeah.
That's twice. It just went off again.
Yeah.
That's twice. Just went off again.
Yeah.
No,
It don't matter. You got it.
Should have left it back there. Should have left it back there.
Well, that's the end of the episode with our brother,
Yes.
the great Craig Hodges.
Yes,
man,
indeed.
We honored. Thanks for being
brother,
here, man. You
appreciate
can
you,
catch
man.
this episode on, go ahead, Matt.
All the Smoke Production YouTube and the DraftKings Network.
Nah, I don't know that part, but I know this part. We'll see y'all next time.
Yes, sir.